amazing.
When all these pics come out and all this stuff with Bieber's big penis, are you the mastermind behind that? Say, listen, show off your big and people come to those concerts, or are you sitting there?
Is that the kind of managing he's doing?
Usher, are you sitting down with him and saying, "Yeah, show you," or leave it in your pants? I mean, do you sit him down and say, "Look"?
Hey, listen, he has a mind of his own. What he chose to do with his is his prerogative. He's managing that aspect of his life.
But Usher is somebody.
I have nothing to do with Justin Bieber's private parts, man. Come on. I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor
some...
Camp.
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what
Camp.
it was called. Biggie Smalls was there.
Biggie Smalls was there. Lil' Kim, Craig Mack.
All these people are hanging around.
Yeah, man. Faith Evans,
your parents
Jodeci,
were
Mary J.
okay?
Blige. They didn't know nothing about this.
The rumors surrounding Diddy and his involvement with young, rising stars in the music industry are more shocking than ever. Over the years, whispers of manipulation, exploitation, and downright questionable behavior have followed him like a shadow. From teenage artists like Usher and Justin Bieber to pulling strings behind the scenes with even his own sons, Diddy's legacy seems to be tangled in controversy. Today, we take a deep dive into the truth about how Diddy built his empire using dirty and blood money and exploiting the dreams of the young and naive. Stick around because what we're about to uncover will leave you questioning everything.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no. He helped me understand business at a different level because I'm seeing him go from his independence to then becoming Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? And I got a front row seat.
Right off the bat, y'all already know at the very top of the list would be Usher. Usher lived with Diddy when he was just 13, trying to make a name for himself in the music world. And let's just say, what went down during that time is anything but the glitzy, glamorous life you might think. Back in 2016, Usher talked about his time living with Diddy at such a young age during an interview with Howard Stern.
Do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
At first, he made it sound like a fun, wild ride, but if you really listen to what he said, there was definitely more lurking under the surface. Usher even hinted at some disturbing things happening and even added that he didn't even understand half of what he was seeing at the time, but that it was wild.
What were you
I
saying?
went there to see the lifestyle,
Right.
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
Perhaps the most telling thing was when Usher said that there was no way he would ever let his own kids attend Puffy Camp, which is what they called Diddy's place back then.
You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy Camp?
Hell no.
See?
That alone had people side-eyeing the situation and curious about what was really happening in Diddy's world and why Usher sounded so uncomfortable talking about it. But anyways, now we know that he was one of the kids that Diddy took advantage of, as people who were formerly in Diddy's camp have also been telling on him. And it's through them that we got to know about what really happened between Diddy and Usher back in the day. You see, for the longest time, word has been going around that Diddy crossed some major lines with Usher when he was just 14. In fact, there is this wild rumor that on one occasion, Usher was actually hospitalized because of Diddy's reckless behavior. This horrifying story didn't just come from nowhere. Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal, has been out here exposing Diddy left and right. Uncle Gene, as people call him, has made it clear that Diddy's lifestyle is anything but normal and hinted at some very inappropriate things going down between Diddy and Usher. He is the one who exposed Diddy for allegedly being inappropriate with Usher when he was below the age and got him so hurt that Usher got hospitalized.
You said that, I know you can't go into detail, but you said that it was a situation where Diddy sent him to the hospital?
Let Usher explain that to you. Let Usher mama explain that to you.
It gets even messier. According to these allegations, Diddy would let older women engage in highly questionable behavior with Usher while they were living together.
Wow.
So nobody tried to, some woman didn't come along.
I didn't say that.
Okay.
I didn't say that. What I did say is that there were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it.
There is actually a video currently making the rounds on the internet where Diddy is telling Kevin Hart that he would wake up with Usher in the same bed and sometimes wrestle.
Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early with me. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world.
Yo, what the f did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this for me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live.
Super sad to imagine a 13-year-old being exposed to that. It is no wonder Usher looks back on that time with such hesitation and wouldn't so much as think about his kids in the hands of Diddy. It's all just really disturbing when you think about it. This whole thing isn't making Diddy's situation any better, and now that he's already dealing with lawsuits and all kinds of drama, these rumors resurfacing are only adding fuel to the fire. It is no secret that Diddy's lifestyle has always been chaotic, but these stories from Usher's past, plus the other victim stories we've heard so far, have pushed the public's patience to the limit. Not only that, but it is also now clear that even though Diddy played a major role in bringing Usher into the limelight, it came at a very high price, and the current Diddy saga reveals just that. Usher happens to be one of the celebrities who so far have been named in Diddy's most damning lawsuits. This is where Lil Rod's lawsuit, which detailed a wild conversation he had with Diddy. Apparently, Diddy was out here flexing about hooking up with not one, but two people in the industry. The first person allegedly was a rapper from Philly who used to date Nicki Minaj. You don't have to dig too deep to see that Meek Mill fits the bill. The second name Diddy allegedly dropped, according to the Lil Rod lawsuit, was an artist who performed at the Super Bowl and had a bomb Vegas residency. Y'all already know the fans wasted no time putting two and two together. It all pointed to Usher. But here's where Usher's case gets twisted. You'd think that people would pity Usher for whatever happened to him at Diddy's. But nope, he's allegedly one of the celebrities going down with Diddy. Him saying that he would never let his kids go to Diddy's wasn't the problem. This message did not sit well with so many people because while Usher vehemently declared that he would protect his kids against Diddy, remember who he sent? Justin Bieber. So it's not like he wouldn't send someone, just not his kids. This is why people have never felt sorry for Usher, because even after experiencing what went on in Diddy's house for a whole year, even confirming that he'd stay up at those parties and that weird things would happen, he still presented Bieber to Diddy, which is one of the biggest red flags that people just cannot seem to ignore.
The first time you met Justin Bieber, this kid comes up to you. He's not Justin Bieber yet. He's just some kid. And he says, I want to sing for you.
It was at the studio of Jermaine Dupri's.
Remember, Bieber was around 13 at the time to Diddy, and from there, things took a really dark turn for Justin.
Yeah.
And I showed her the video. And Perry says, are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing.
Y'all, it is no secret that Hollywood chewed Justin up and spat him back out. The way that his personality just completely changed over the years has been alarming, and it is not hard to connect the dots. Many people believe that the trauma Justin faced in Hollywood, particularly his time around Diddy, is exactly what led to his meltdowns, trust issues, and mental health struggles. And it's not even a secret anymore. Just look at Justin today. He's morphed from this innocent, bubbly kid full of energy and just so happy to be living his dream to an unstable young adult constantly making headlines for all the wrong reasons, and now an ever sad, melancholic adult who just seems to carry around so much pain. I've covered Justin and Diddy's situation extensively in 2 videos. If you haven't watched them yet, you need to catch up because trust me, there is so much to unpack. If you want to understand why Justin Bieber has been having so many public meltdowns and why he's been distancing himself from everyone, including his parents, ever since the birth of his son, be my guest. But the bottom line is, Hollywood, and especially especially Diddy, broke him. You'll also understand why people find it so hard to pity Usher, because he knew so well that by introducing Justin to Diddy, he had set him up for the same experiences that damaged him as a teen. And it is no surprise that Justin's journey in the industry turned out to be a nightmare. In an interesting turn of events, it is not just Usher facing the heat. People are so over this Diddy mess that they are coming for everyone who knew what was happening but kept quiet. The public isn't sparing anyone, not even Uncle Gene, despite him exposing Diddy's reckless behavior. People are asking why he didn't do more to stop these unspeakable things when they were going down. And it's clear that nobody is safe right now from the backlash. Everyone is being held accountable right now. Now, let's talk about King Combs, aka Christian Combs, and Justin Combs, Diddy's very own son. Turns out Diddy didn't just stop at hurting strangers. He did it to his own family too. How sick do you have to be to want to leave behind a legacy of abuse? Of all the things he could have given his kids, Diddy roped them into his shady world, and now they are going down with him, being served lawsuit after lawsuit with charges similar to what Diddy is in for. I've already covered this details in another video, so I won't dive too deep here, but if you want to understand how Diddy dragged his two sons, Christian and Justin Combs, into his shady deals and why they're now tangled up in lawsuits just as messy as their fathers, you really don't want to miss out on this video. There is so much more to this story, including why their sisters can't even stand them right now. Go check it out. Let's get into how Diddy has been called out over the years for his treatment of young talent signed to his label, Bad Boy Records. Now, I know you've heard of the whispers, Diddy allegedly exploiting the youth and inexperience of rising stars to maintain control over their careers. These claims have been swirling around for years, and while no legal case has definitely proven it, there is plenty of evidence that suggests that there's more to the story. So let's break it down. All right, moving on to more shocking news. If you thought Diddy only had his way with Bieber and Usher, think again. Turns out his record label was literally a place where young people's dreams went to die. From the beginning, Diddy built Bad Boy Records with the help of young artists who were hungry for success but didn't fully understand the business side of things. And this is where Diddy seems to thrive. Critics have long suggested that he preyed on these young artists' lack of knowledge to squeeze them into contracts that heavily favored him. Diddy's approach to managing young talent has often been described as manipulative, with some claiming he takes an unfair share of their profits and leaves them with little control over their own music. One of the most famous examples of Diddy's alleged exploitation involves the iconic rap group The Lox. Back in the late 90s, The Lox signed with Bad Boy, but after the success of their debut album, they quickly realized that their contract wasn't as lucrative as they expected. They openly accused Diddy of keeping the majority of their earnings while they were left struggling financially. This situation got so bad that the trio publicly called out Diddy on the radio, famously saying, "We're out here eating tuna fish and Diddy is eating caviar." They wanted to be released from their contract and even threatened Diddy with violence if he didn't give them their publishing rights back. It took years, but eventually they were able to negotiate their way out, and that drama is still a major example of how young talent under Bad Boy has felt exploited. But that wasn't all. There was also the Dainty Kane saga. Y'all probably don't even know who they are, but back in the day when you had to memorize phone numbers, Diddy already had it figured out and was instrumental in forming several rap groups. Dainty Kane was such a girl group, and Diddy featured them on his reality show, Making the Band. However, after achieving major success, the group disbanded amid claims of bad management. Members of Dainty Kane have expressed frustrations about how Diddy controlled everything, from their music to their image, and how they had very little say in their own careers. Aubrey O'Day, one of the standout members of the group, has publicly accused Diddy of manipulating the group for his benefit and taking more credit than he deserved for their success.
Well, Sean Diddy Combs is facing more legal troubles. Former Dainty Kane singer Dawn Richard just filed a lawsuit against Diddy, citing battery. You may remember Richard. She was part of the band formed by Combs on the reality show Making a Band. That's her in the white there. Among the allegations listed in the complaint include sexual harassment and false imprisonment. Attorneys for Combs deny the allegations and accuse Richard of having a financial motive. This is the 10th lawsuit against Combs since November, the 9th accusing him of sexual assault.
Another group that had a rocky relationship with Bad Boy is Total. This R&B trio had major hits in the 90s, but faded into thin air. But it wasn't long before whispers emerged that Diddy had more control over the group's finances and career decisions than they did. Members of the group have been vocal about how they didn't feel supported by the label and were sidelined after a couple of albums. This is another instance where young artists were managed in a way that left them feeling powerless.
Bad business move on our part because our management chewed us out. We weren't thinking, we were thinking family all up.
We could go on and on, guys. Another band called Day 26 had also aired similar grievances about their time under Diddy's thumb. The boy band members have accused Diddy of being too controlling in a way that left them feeling suffocated. Guys, trust me, it would have been better if only Diddy was just controlling, because that's barely it when it comes to this toxic work environment. Some artists, especially females, had some of the worst encounters that went as far as Diddy putting his hands on them. These stories just go on and on, y'all. Clearly, Diddy has killed more careers than Netflix cancels fan favorite shows. Just when we thought we heard it all about Diddy, Faith Evans decided to stir the pot lately with some jaw-dropping revelations about her late ex-husband Biggie and Diddy. For those who don't know, Faith Evans is an R&B singer and an actress who was famously married to Biggie Smalls. The revelations she's dropped are so cringe. If there was one mad person who still pitied Diddy, then this is your final sign to cancel him. We've all heard the rumors Diddy's alleged role in Biggie's death, stealing his masters, and the shady dealings that went down behind the scenes. But Faith is bringing a whole new angle to the story. And let's just say, it's wild. Apparently Biggie was ready to expose some serious dirt on Diddy, and we're talking about secrets that could have turned the whole industry upside down. For this reason, people are convinced that Diddy might have tried to silence Biggie before it all came out. Faith sure seems to think so. It's honestly kind of shocking that Faith is finally speaking out like this, especially after years of defending Diddy. While the world has been pointing fingers at him, accusing him of playing a role in Biggie's untimely death, Faith has always stood firm, saying that Diddy wouldn't hurt Biggie.
Have Big kill. Puff would never be involved in one of his best friends. That's outside of him being his artist. You know what I'm saying? That was like, you know, their relationship was something that I don't have that relationship with Puff. So, you know, that's never been something that now people can connect things and say you knew this but that doesn't mean you knew these things were going to happen either. And that doesn't mean that you said, okay, do this either. Because I know without a doubt that if that's the case, then we would have sued Puff a long time ago if we felt that way. You don't think they haven't tried to get us to do that?
But now, the tides are turning, and she looks like her conscience has finally convinced her to do the right thing. Maybe watching Diddy get exposed by literally everyone finally made Faith Evans switch sides, and now she's out here finally speaking the truth. See, not only has Diddy been hit with allegations of you-know-what, but now we're hearing he's been caught trying to take down his enemies left and right. According to Faith, Diddy didn't just screw over his artists by stealing his music. He would mistreat them in the studio and even lay his hands on them. Faith also said that she noticed that even though Diddy would be mean to all of the artists, he would only hit the women. Men like Diddy can never take on someone their own size, so they always on women. Faith added that despite his "we're all family" facade, Diddy couldn't stand his own artists and was straight up robbing them blind. And that even Biggie himself even told her that Diddy treated his crew like disposable pawns, using them up and tossing them aside like yesterday's news. Well, with the many examples we've seen earlier, Faith's claims are not too far from the truth. Even worse, Diddy would send his artists against each other behind the scenes, all while parading them everywhere, claiming about how Bad Boy was one big happy family. And it was actually a circus of manipulation. These stories are honestly heartbreaking, y'all. Diddy has been an animal throughout his entire life, and no wonder he thought he was above the law. From Usher and Justin Bieber to his own sons and countless Bad Boy Records artists, the whispers have only grown louder over the years, and things have now finally come full circle. These stories point to a pattern that is just too hard to ignore. The truth may not fully be out yet, but as more people speak up, it is is clear that the legacy Diddy has built is far from untouchable. Thank you guys for watching, and please do not forget to check out my other videos on Diddy. Trust me when I say this man was a monster. See you in the next video, loves.